What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I have my top 15 college football playoff poll, and if it were my prediction, this is a poll like nobody else I've seen, so I know you're gonna disagree with me on something. So, warning. But let's get into it. On number 15, I have the Michigan Wolverines. I still think they're a very good football team. Their only losses came to Ohio State, where they got absolutely blown out. Penn State, where they lost. They were at Penn State during the whiteout, and they dropped a touchdown that would have tied the game late in the fourth quarter. So I think they played pretty well in that game. And they got absolutely outplayed by Wisconsin earlier this season. But I still think they're good, but they're number 15 to me. Number 14, Minnesota. I'm a big believer in Minnesota. I don't know why they're number 18. I think they should be higher. Their only losses come to a very good Wisconsin team, who we'll talk about in a minute. And a very good Iowa team who's ranked number 16 in the college football playoff poll. And it was on the road after an emotional game. So I still think Minnesota is a very good football team. I kind of predicted their success a little bit, and I'm kind of proud of that. I think PJ Fleck's an amazing coach. I said I didn't expect them to go be like undefeated in week 9, but I did say that they would definitely improve and compete for the division. So let's go to number 13. Number 13, I have Wisconsin. They're still a very good football team. They have Jack Cohn is not elite, but he's a very good QB. Jonathan Taylor's an absolute beast. Highlights are coming if they're not already out. They have a very good defense too. Very good football team. Their only losses came to Illinois, which was a fluke game kinda, and then 2 losses to Ohio State. And that last time they played them a week ago, they kept it very, very close. We're beating them by 2 touchdowns. And then Ohio State scored 27 unanswered. My bad, guys. 27 unanswered. At number 12, I have the Auburn Tigers, Alabama's rival. If you don't know, I am an Alabama fan, and they are where they are because they won the Iron Bowl. That game was very close. Could have been just, if a couple of things go Alabama's way, that game might go Alabama's way. This isn't me making excuses. This is a point I'm going to bring up later. Auburn's a very good football team. They lost to LSU by 3, Georgia by 7, and Florida at the Swamp by 2 scores. So they're still very good, and they beat Alabama. So they're still good, but I don't think they're as good as people are giving them credit. I don't think they beat Alabama. I think Alabama lost. There's a big difference. I don't think Auburn outplayed Alabama, or Auburn was that better of a football team. I think it was Alabama Alabama not playing how they should have. But that's a whole nother rant. But I think they're ranked number 12. At number 11, I have the Utah Utes. Same as the college football playoff poll. They drop 6 spots after losing to Oregon. I knew they weren't all that. I did predict they beat Oregon, but I knew they weren't all that. I'm kind of glad they lost. I knew they were not as advertised, and it came to show versus Oregon. They're still very good, though. Only losses were to USC, when I believe their quarterback or running back or one of their star players was injured, and that Oregon game. But they're still very good. Very, very good. They have an elite defense and an elite QB and running back combo. At number 10, I have my team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and before anybody calls me biased or a homer, the AP poll has Alabama, I believe, 10 or 9. Actually, no, we're tied for 9 with Auburn. So basically, we're 9 or 10. So I put us at 10 though. So I agree with the AP poll more than the college football playoff poll, because the playoff poll has us number 13, which I think is way too low. Alabama's still a good football team. Their only loss came to the number 1 team in the nation by 5 points, with a quarterback who was 20 days off ankle surgery. And then their other loss came to the number 12 team in the nation by 3 points because we missed a field goal and we were on the road with a backup quarterback. I still think Alabama's very good. The only thing they're missing is a quality win over a quality opponent. That's the only thing Alabama's missing. But I have them ranked number 10. So let's go to number 9. Penn State. I don't have much to say about Penn State. They did surprise me this year. I didn't think they would do as well as they are. Very good football team. Have struggled at times. Kept it competitive with Ohio State. Very good football team. Again, I don't have much to say on them, but I do have them ranked number 9. At number 8, I have Florida. And I think Florida's still a good team. Their only losses came to Georgia by, I think, 2 scores. If they would have stopped them on 3rd down, they might have won that game, but Georgia converted like every 3rd down they had. And then their other loss came to LSU at Baton Rouge by 14, where they were very competitive in that game. So I still think Florida's good, very good on the defensive side of the football, and they're okay on offense, especially after losing their backup quarterback. Kyle Trask has been a very good replacement. At number 7, we have the Georgia Bulldogs. I think they should drop more than they did, because I don't know. You can make a case that Alabama should be ranked above Georgia. I'm not gonna make that case. I'm not gonna drop them that far. But there's a case to be made there. They lost to an 8-loss South Carolina team and got blown out by 27 by LSU. And their offense has not looked great this season whatsoever. Very good defense, though. But I have them ranked number 7. I don't know how they only fell 1 spot to number 5. It's not like it really mattered that much. But that's where I have them, at number 7. Number 6, I have Baylor. I think Baylor's still very, very, very good. And almost got number 5. If they wouldn't have played some teams closer than they should have this season, they might be ranked number 5 to me right now. But their only 2 losses came to the same team by a combined like 9 points, I think. So they're still very good. Or 10 or 9 points. Very good football team. They really surprised me this year. This is one of the biggest turnarounds of football history. You see UCF, which I think was winless, and then in 2 years they turned it around to undefeated. And this team went 1-11 with only 1 win, and now they only have like 2 losses, and could go like 12-2. Wait, no. Yeah, I think so. 12-2. At number 5, I have the Oregon Ducks. Oregon's really impressed me. I don't think Justin Herbert is as good as people say, but I still don't think he's I still think he's a pretty good quarterback. Oregon has shown flashes on the defensive side of the football. If they wouldn't have lost that trap game to Arizona State, then they would be in the playoffs right now, probably. No, they would be in the playoffs right now. I can assure you that. But they did lose that game. They beat Utah. They lost a close game to Auburn on a neutral field. So I still think Oregon's good, and they're number 5 to me. At number 4, I have Oklahoma. Same as college football playoff poll. Don't have much to say here. This is where everyone has them ranked number 4. I'm rooting for them in the playoffs because I'm rooting for Jalen since we aren't there. But I have Oklahoma ranked number 4. This might shock some people. At number 3, I have Ohio State. Many people think they're number 1. I don't. They've been number 3 to me all season. Well, I don't know about all season. Coming into the season, they were probably like number 9 or lower in the top 10 to me. They moved up, but they have not crossed 3. So I'm not moving them down because of that one game to Wisconsin. They played close last Saturday. No, I've had them number 3 all season. It's not a knock against them. Ohio State's an incredible football team. Justin Fields is an incredible quarterback who can throw and run and doesn't turn the ball over much. J.K. Dobbins is amazing. Their offensive line is incredible. And Chase Young is a monster off the edge. And Jeffrey Okudah could probably keep up with any receiver in football. But I have them ranked number 3. It's not a knock against them. I just think the 2 top teams I have are better than them. And this will shock even more people. At number 2, I have LSU. Let me make my argument. Okay, so I've had, once LSU beat Alabama, I have them ranked number 2 all season. They haven't moved down or up since then. They have quality wins over ranked opponents. They beat Auburn. They beat Alabama. They beat Florida. They beat Georgia. They beat Texas. I mean, these are so many quality wins. I don't know. They beat like 5 top 10 teams. Texas was good when they played them. Kind of derailed through the season, though. Excuse me. And I think they are very close to being the best team in the nation. But the team I've had number 1 all season, and this is my rule. I don't move them down till they lose a game. Is Clemson at number 1. I will not move Clemson down until they lose a game. I repeat. I just won't. That's my rule. The defending national champ, I just won't move them down until they lose the game. Sorry, but that's the logic. That's the logic I go by. And other than that, close game versus North Carolina that everyone brings up, they've beat teams by like 31 plus in like 8 straight games. They're like the first team to do this since like 1905 or something. They're playing incredible football. They've peaked here at the end of the season. Trevor Lawrence isn't turning the ball over and looking as sloppy as he did at the start of the season. Clemson's peaking at the right time, and if I were Ohio State, I'd be scared to play them. But let's view my bowl matchups if this were to happen. So in the Peach Bowl, I would have Oklahoma and Clemson. A very interesting matchup to me. Excuse me. I'm not giving my prediction on this game because it might foreshadow my playoff predictions that are coming out later this month. But I think this will be an interesting matchup. I think this is actually what I had predicted going into the season. I had them in the Fiesta Bowl, 2 versus 3, but this is what I had going into the season. In the Fiesta Bowl, I have LSU versus Ohio State. Many people's 1 and 2, my 2 and 3. But they're still very good. This would be an incredible matchup. A very good one. But that's who I'd have in the Fiesta Bowl. In the Rose Bowl, I'd have Oregon and Penn State instead of Oregon and Wisconsin. I have Penn State ranked above Wisconsin. And I'd probably pick Oregon to win this game. Oregon's playing some good football. And in the Cotton Bowl, I have Wisconsin and Memphis instead of Penn State and Memphis. But I believe every other bowl game stays the same. Florida still plays Virginia. Georgia still plays Baylor. These are just the New Year's Six bowls that I'm doing, by the way. Alabama might, instead of playing Michigan, I think Alabama would actually play Minnesota instead, if you were wondering about that game. But these have been my picks for my top 15. I'll run back through it real quick again. Number 1, Clemson. Number 2, LSU. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, Oklahoma. Number 5, Oregon. Number 6, Baylor. Number 7, Georgia. Number 8, Florida. Number 9, Penn State. Number 10, Alabama. Number 11, Utah. Number 12, Auburn. Number 13, Wisconsin. Number 14, Minnesota. And number 15, Michigan. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching, guys.